Today we'll make a simple password, Python password file. Okay, so this is PyCharm. This is for beginners, so if you're new to Python, this would help. So PyCharm, there's a link below. I should include a link in the description below. New Python file. Let's call it password. So one of the requirements for the GCSE computing spec, whether it's Edexcel, AQA or OCR, is design. So we should bear in mind the need to actually have some sort of design. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up let's have a look. I'm going to open up draw.io. So we can go here, draw.io. I'm going to teach you a quick acronym to remember the procedures and design, and that's ADIT. A-D-I-T. Quite simply, analysis, design, implementation and testing. Alright, so draw.io gives you free flowcharting symbols. So the analysis, that will be analyzing the problem and seeing what the requirements are of the system. We'll just make it very simple, which is to check a password's correct, and if it's correct, we can open up a file. If it's incorrect, then we will tell the user that it's incorrect. If it's incorrect 3 times, then we will tell the user that they've used up their 3 opportunities to log in. Okay, so that's the analysis. I'm going to go into the design. The design should either be in pseudocode or in flowcharts, and draw.io you can always practice your flowcharts. I know with Edexcel they just look for this for the basic ones, which is start, process, and decisions. Obviously, there are more you could use. You could use user input. You could also use sub-processes when necessary. So I'll delve into that at some stage. What's essential for you to also know? Right. So this is draw.io. And what's essential for you to know with Edexcel, OCR, and AQA? With Edexcel in particular, they're interested in the start, processing, and decisions. Obviously, there are a lot more symbols you could use, such as subprocess. So when you're doing a modular design, we'll come into sub-processes and call a process, and also input, so user input. But what I've seen from the Edexcel spec is start, process, and decision. I think at this juncture, it's very important to let you know as a programmer that you can actually solve every computational problem with sequences. So that would be moving process to process in a sequential order. Selection, which is decision making basically, if, else, or while. So you've got a decision there and you follow 2 paths, a yes or a no from that decision. an iteration, that's repetition, so repeating a process over and over. And that, in conjunction with a data structure such as lists, or arrays, are all you need. And then you've got some other additional features, such as inheritance, calling functions that already exist, things like slicing, etc. That we'll get into those. Abstraction. So that will be for the analysis and decomposition. So breaking down a problem into sub-processes there. So let's think about this password program. So we're going to have it's going to start there, and it's going to move to a process here. Actually, it's going to move to user input. So we're going to say here start. Remember, your program isn't actually complete until you've done edit, which is analysis, design, implementation and testing, especially at GCSE level, right? So we're going to have start here. We're actually going to go to user input, so I'm going to delete that, and we're going to take an input, which is the parallelogram, and we're going to say enter password. Okay. Excuse the spag there, yeah. Start, enter password. This is going to be version 1, okay? What I want to show you, I'm doing this from scratch because I want you as the pupil to see that you can make mistakes, okay? As long as you do things in a methodological way, you will actually get there, right? So this hasn't been pre-planned, etc. So I want to show you as a student that you can, start and correct yourself as you go on, have version 1, version 2, etc. There's no shame in learning, okay? So learn by doing, okay? The application of the theory, but you need to actually do, right? So start, then it's going to be enter password, okay? From enter password, we are going to go to a decision. Oops. Right. Let's click on that. There we are. That's what I want. So we're going to decision, right? Illustrate. Okay, one more. See if that's right now. Yep. So enter password. Actually, we need a process, which is password equals. Okay, no, just a decision. So password equals password stored, right? And then we're going to have, if it's yes, we're going to open file, right? So we're going to have a process here. Open file. Okay. Right. And if no, just trying to get this to move. Right, if no, we're going to go back in here, and it's going to say enter password. Right, obviously we will, once I'm getting that to work, we will in future versions, because this is a beginner's Python, we'll have enter password, and if it's greater than 3 times, we'll block them off. So they'll have 3 chances at entering the password, okay? But for now, we'll just work on this. Oh, that didn't work. Close that and do that. Let's see if that works. Yes, got you. Well, not quite. That should be, the arrow should just be pointing down. Let's see if we can get that to point down. Yep. Perfect. Right, so that's our design there, okay? So, start. Enter password. Password equals password stored. If it's yes, so let's double click on that. Yes. Then open file, and if it's no, then it is you're going back to enter password. Open file, and then of course we need an end there. So we're going to go here to end. And that's end. So this is what you're supposed to get into the habit of before you actually jump into code. I know it's nice to just dive straight in, but in order to get a 9, you really do need to get comfortable with creating a flowchart. I'm going to be a bit fickle here. Let's just try to get that straight. I mean, it's just a bit. Let's get that straight. Okay, let's get rid of that. And let's bring it down again. Oops. Okay. Let's do that nice and straight. Oh, not perfect, but okay. Well, anyway. So there you have it. That's part 1. We've got the design out the way. Join me for part 2.